So if you're wanting to start your own business, how much does it actually cost to do so? The answer is it depends. It depends a lot. For starters, where are you located? Are you located in India, in the United States, in Singapore, in Canada, in Switzerland? It's going to vary a lot depending on where you're starting your business. Costs can vary a lot from country to country and even region to region. The next major variable is what type of business are you going to be starting? Because there can be, extremes. If you're wanting to start an airline, it's maybe going to cost billions of dollars. If you're wanting to start a business just building websites from your computer and you already have that computer, there's not really going to be much for startup costs. So it can really depend so much depending on your region and the nature of the business and other factors as well. But just for some examples with those extremes, think, for example, like an airline or a car dealership. With a car dealership, you're probably gonna have to spend a lot of money preparing the facility, especially if you are purchasing the facility and then doing the renovations on it, or building it from scratch and then furnishing it and getting equipment and all those different types of things. And then of course with a car dealership, you're going to need inventory of vehicles, and maybe you want 200 vehicles on your lot to start out with. So that's going to be expensive to get those vehicles as well. And then on top of that, there's going to be a lot of insurance to get set up, equipment, computers, getting utilities set up to operate that equipment, probably training a lot of staff. So that would be an extremely expensive example. Whereas if you're wanting to start your own business just being a consultant, kind of like I am, there doesn't necessarily need to be much for startup costs. I need a phone and I need a computer, but I already had that. And I don't even necessarily need office space if I don't want to. I could work from home and maybe just meet clients at cafes and stuff like that. So for myself, for my consulting business, there were a lot of startup costs that I incurred that I didn't necessarily need to, because all I really do need, and all you would need for a lot of different types of businesses, is mainly just yourself and your phone, maybe your computer. For my business, I do need insurance. I could get away with it, but some of my clients want proof of insurance. Business cards are nice to have, but you could get away without having them. And even if you need them, they're not that expensive. I have things like calendar booking software and signage that I could get away without even having. And then I bought some extra furnishings for my office. And I also made a website for my business that I had to pay for. It wasn't that expensive though, because I didn't get someone else to build a website. I just built it myself. But if you really wanted, you could just have a social media page, Instagram or Facebook business page. So for a business like that, for consulting, or if you're doing video editing or you're doing website design or graphic design, it can be very cheap to start out with, depending where you're at. But if you're in the US or Canada, maybe just a couple $100s to get that business started. So the key takeaway there is it depends a lot, and ultimately don't be intimidated or don't feel like insufficient if you don't have a bunch of money available, because there are plenty of different types of businesses that you can start without much money. I do recommend determining your startup cost just by making a list of the items you'll need to purchase to start the business or expenses, and just kind of estimate what the costs are going to be. You could do like a high-end cost and a low-end cost estimate just to get a ballpark of what it's going to cost you. And then once you've figured that out, then you can determine where that money is going to come from. So hopefully the video was helpful. If so, you can click like, and also feel free to check out the other videos on my channel. I cover topics on business management and business startup. So I have other videos that answer similar questions and talk about how to start a business and how to do that cheaply and how to do that in the right way. And if you have any questions on business startup or business management, feel free to just leave the question in the comment section below and I will address it there.